Hello, welcome to You Know Something podcast. I'm Dena.
And I am Diana.
If you're listening now, it's probably August. We're recording actually on the evening of July 31st. So by the time you listen to it, it will be August, unless you are in the future and you're looking back at us on the past. And that's woo.
Ooh, ooh.
But if you're in current time, it's August. And the good news is I looked it up, and July is historically the hottest month of the year for anyone in the United States. And we are in the Southeast. It's particularly hot, oppressively hot. The
Is
bad
it
news is,
really? I haven't noticed.
and
So
that's why you're
that's why I'm
listening.
hot and sweaty and grumpy.
I think
Okay.
everybody on the road is grumpy too. I noticed today. It's everybody's hot and grumpy. And we're going to try to fix that. We're going to try. Well, we can't fix it because we're not the weatherman, but we don't have a weather machine. But we're going to try to help you live through it. The bad news is August is the second hottest month historically, and it's interesting. I was looking to see if 2025 was the hottest year on record. It's not the hottest year on record, but it's one of the hottest years. And I found an article back in May of this year on Better Homes and Gardens, and it was predicting that 2025 would be excruciatingly hot and oppressive. So they were correct, and that's kind of based on the Farmer's Almanac. Do you subscribe to read
Yes.
that?
Well, my dad used to live by it. He planned everything based on that calendar.
Really? Well, it's
Mhm.
pretty accurate.
It is.
And they really, I was wondering what they base that on. How do they decide what it is? And they have like a team of experts, and they actually study the stars and all kinds of crazy stuff to come to a conclusion of when to plant things and what the harvests are going to be. But that's, again, a whole nother episode. But it was expected to be super duper hot, and they were super duper right. So Diana and I, it was actually Diana's idea. We kind of chit chat after we record an episode, and she said, we need to do something about the heat, a show about the heat. So we put our heads together, and she's come up with, the serious side of heat. It's not just uncomfortable and something to complain about. Can be well, it can be deadly, and I'll let her talk about that because she's the medical expert here. And then after she does that, she's going to give you an interesting medical solution if you happen to be a super sweater, as I call it. I'm not a big sweater, but this summer I have been. But some people sweat at the drop of a hat. They.
That's right. And when people have a true medical problem, they sweat in the dead of winter.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I used to have somebody in my life like that. It was very annoying to wash the sheets a lot.
Yes, it impacts your life and your partner's or your family's life. Absolutely.
It really does. And then after Diana has imparted her wisdom and solutions for your life, we're going to talk about just some fun little, maybe some hacks you hadn't thought about to help stay cool. So this is either going to be one long one or we'll do a two-part episode. But I think it's really needed because it will be hot through, at least where we are, through the end of September, even into October. I remember hot Halloween, so that's the end
Yes.
of October. So
And that's not comfortable in a Halloween costume for it to be hot.
a little sweaty plastic mask. It always stayed on top of my head most of the time instead of on my face. Diana, I'm just going to let you, as a medical professional, take it away and just help us with the serious side. I mean, I think you should give us some life-saving tips. Even she is not your doctor, so see your doctor and ask your doctor, but she does have a lot of experience just based on your own observances in hospitals. I mean, you know stuff that
Yeah.
goes on. So I'm going to
Yeah.
shut up eventually and let you take it away.
I love listening to you. So, yeah, it is hot. My husband and I experienced that. I think I said something about it on the last podcast where we were, and it was anywhere from 105 to 110 plus index on the heat. So that doesn't mean it's the actual temperature. However, on the day that we left, it was going to be 105 degrees there. So when you are beginning to get to these extreme temperatures and they are prolonged, meaning months and months, it's very good to just remember to check on our family members, especially our elderly who are not wanting to maybe get out, go to the grocery store because it is so hot. If you have to go to the grocery store, just get their list and get it for them. So Also check on the sick people, again, who can't get out, but also please don't forget animals suffer just like we do in the heat. So they are born to, some of them live outside. However, they have to have clean and fresh water every day and enough to, keep them hydrated.
Yeah, if you think
So
about it, they're going through the same thing we go through, but they're wearing a fur coat.
it yes. I've said that so many times. Um, there are times where you are potentially in an environment that is hot. Say you're out playing golf or playing tennis or doing something that requires even exertion in the extreme heat. That can lead to a medical condition, and it's called hyperthermia. I myself like to break down words so that I know what that means. So, hyper means increased, and of course, thermia means temperature. So, that's your increased body temperature. And you ask, okay, what is the temperature where you begin to feel the effect? Well, that depends on the individual as to how hydrated they were before they came into, the sport or the activity. So that's a lot of variables right there. But if you have someone who is, again, as you're a layperson and you're not trained, but you see someone and they're having a headache, they are maybe a little bit confused, disoriented to the point where they don't know where they're at. They don't know what time it is. They don't know normal things that they should know. Nausea and vomiting is another one. You can notice their breathing. That's going to be increased rapid breathing. Our thirst when we begin to get dehydrated, we drink, and it's unfortunate that our body doesn't send us a signal just a little bit sooner, because usually by the time that you're feeling the effect that you need to drink like a whole bottle of water at one time, you're actually behind the eight ball. You can't catch up. And that's where, again, it gets even more progressive to the point of the person can start cramping. They have the rapid breathing to the point where they can even become unconscious on you. So I had that happen to me actually out on a golf course. We were teeing off, my husband, and in front of us, we were like, what in the world? And they were still on the green. It was like, what in the world are they doing? And then all of a sudden, I saw them all around this gentleman, and that he fell to the floor. So I started, it was a par three. So I started sprinting because I'm a nurse, and it's like, oh gosh, somebody's down. I got to get there. And I start sprinting towards, well, my husband, who is, oh my goodness, he's way smarter than me. He got in the golf cart. I think,
Idea.
yeah. And he's like, he caught up with me because I was sprinting. I was doing pretty good. I was halfway there. But he did pick me up for the rest of the way, and he floored it. We got there, and I asked, what has he been doing as far as acting wise? And, he was confused prior to this. He was complaining. He just was so thirsty that he just couldn't get enough.
Wow.
And yeah, so it can progress, and we can prevent hyperthermia, because if temperature gets maintained and up to 104, that is considered life threatening in the medical community.
And that
So
can actually fry your brain, can it? Yeah.
correct.
Oof.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So, what do we do about it? We're going to immediately get someone to a cooler area. Can you get them out of the sun into the shade? Also, we're going to remove, and if someone is passed out and is unconscious, we're going to obviously call 911. I kind of should have started with that, I guess, but at the same time, it can progress even when you recognize it to the point, and you're doing all these interventions to the point of where you are going to have to call 911. So
Mhm.
recognize where you are. And actually, 911 was called for that gentleman that we ran to. And Lifestar was called because we were out in the middle of nowhere on a golf
Okay.
course, and he did survive. Thank
Yay!
goodness.
I was afraid to ask.
It was a little hit or miss for a little bit because if you get a Lifestar ride, things are not looking good, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, we did intervene, and I honestly do feel like we saved his life. And the people around me were just amazed. And I'm like, every single one of you should know this.
Mhm.
It's simple things such as keeping them cool. If they are awake and have the ability to swallow, we want to slowly give them sips of cold water. You can even use the electrolyte, balanced drinks like Gatorade. Maybe you need to put a link on for Gatorade or
Yeah.
Powerade. I prefer Powerade, but
Yeah.
um, you know, that's an example. There's a lot out there now, but
I was going to ask you if it's safe to give somebody water and even cold, is that too much of a shock to their system or, but
oh
you,
no, no, no. Honestly, if you can submerge them in water,
oh.
that is your first line. But for the most part, we aren't near bodies of water where we could do
Yeah.
that.
So if you had a
And
bottle of water, would it be better to let them drink it or maybe pour some on like a cloth
um,
or towel and golf towel and put it on their forehead or?
correct. I honestly, if I only had one bottle of water, I would probably do half and half.
Mm, okay.
Because again, the cool, if you can put it underneath their arms,
Oh,
of course on their forehead, underneath the arms, really, if you'll ever notice, your armpits, even in the dead of winter, can be warm. You can warm your hands.
mhm.
So when we
Hence deodorant.
cool that, right, hence if we cool that area, your body does have the ability to cool down at a quicker pace,
Good idea. I wouldn't
which,
even have thought of that. I seriously
well,
what?
girl, that's why you got me on here.
I know. Put cold water bottles under each armpit. Put these in your pits.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. What they're suffering from is just dehydration and fatigue. Did they have sleep the night before? Have they also had some alcoholic beverages?
No doubt.
Yeah. When you're on the golf course, it's nice to just chill and relax and have a few beers, but at the same time, recognize that dehydrates you.
Yeah, those cart girls come around. You need to probably drink a bottle of water for every alcoholic
Yeah.
beverage you drink.
Well, I think I've read something to where that's pretty accurate, but those are the signs that we're going to look for. And again, taking if somebody has a sweater off or they have any clothes, if they had pants on, I would literally cut their pants to the point where they were shorts.
Oh, okay.
That gives the body the ability to have the air and to just be able to cool quicker. And obviously, if worsening of symptoms, if the patient does start vomiting and does have the confusion that can lead to loss of consciousness, you need to already by that time have called 911.
Okay.
So, and I will say if left untreated and the person stays in the heat and continues to push and push to the point where, again, that's like the gentleman did in front of me. He pushed and he pushed and he pushed till he lost consciousness and he went down. And so if it's untreated, it can lead to death.
Wow. So being out and doing yard work or anything out in the sun alone and not or somebody not knowing where you are and when you're supposed to be back is a bad idea, I would think.
Yes, I agree with that 100%, but I feel like that's year round.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Somebody needs to know where you're at all times.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Well,
And
yeah, and some people call that, Dina, a sunstroke. And there's really a stroke. If you look up the definition, everybody can Google that. There are specific types of strokes.
mhm,
This is what's called a hypovolemic, which means, let's break that down again. Hypo means low. Volemic means, of course, your volume. That is the fluids within your body. And when we're hypovolemic, that leads to sun/slash heat stroke. So when you're talking about it, you're not going to say the wrong thing. If somebody says it's a sunstroke versus a heat stroke, well, you're
mhm.
going to do the same thing. Don't
Okay,
get
I was going to
caught.
ask you.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
get caught up in all that.
Okay. Good to know. I didn't know a lot of that stuff.
So yeah, Dina, there's also another hyper medical condition called hyperhidrosis, and I don't know exactly how much time we have left, if we have time for that today or
Sure,
not.
do it. Go for
Okay, all right, perfect.
it.
So I'm excited. So this is more in, of course, my field. So we also have what's called hyperhidrosis, and that is abnormally excessive sweating. That can involve our extremities, more commonly underarms, and then also on the face and the palms, and even your feet can really sweat when you have this condition. And it can require some lifestyle changes, which is what I would suggest first, instead of running if you think that you have hyperhidrosis because you sweat a lot underneath your arms. First try some topical antiperspirants. There's a couple of out there, that are aluminum chloride based, and there are two that are currently out on the market. It's Drysol and Softra. And both of those are very effective antiperspirants. However, the bad part is that they can cause some skin irritation. So not everybody can, opt in on that. There are also some oral medications that your doctor can prescribe, and then even surgical, to the point where if someone's really having trouble, technology nowadays has been so successful, they have some surgical interventions as well. But, your first line of defense is, first of all, recognizing that you have this. And how do you know that? Well, most of the time you're going to notice, especially if you're a young girl in their teenage years, they're going to notice that they're sweating where other people their age are not so much. And it can ruin a lot of our clothing. So it can kind of become expensive. I have a few patients that, we've talked about uh, versus Botox, the cost, just buying a new wardrobe, every 6 months. And that has to be just a real personal thing. But there's also some other types of, treatments that you can do. So I would suggest that if you feel like that you are sweating excessively, especially again in the arm areas where you're probably going to notice it the most, and that's going to change you and your lifestyle more than you would recognize, because you do have to change the sheets more often. Your spouse or significant other, you kind of wake up and you're wet, if you will, because you're sweating. That's not really attractive. So,
Could see where if you were in school, especially if you're a female, and
yes,
you have sweat under your armpits or even like down the back, that would be very embarrassing.
very
And you're
embarrassing.
wondering, why is no one else doing this? And then you have the sweat, like the salt stains on your clothes, like you talked about. And then I was thinking when you said hand, the palms, that could be very embarrassing to shake. You wouldn't want to shake someone's hand if it's always sweaty and
Right.
clammy. It makes you self-conscious, I would think. Ruin your hair around your hair. So you said
That's
something
right.
about Botox for.
Yeah. So, again, we have Botox as a lot of different things that it does for us, and they have recognized that Botox is a standard treatment if someone does have what's diagnosed as hyperhidrosis. So, you know, Botox, you've never had that before, and that is something that's going to require a consult with someone that you trust. If you've not been anywhere ever, I would do a lot of research. I also would I would pick four places, for doctor's offices, and choose between, look at the reviews, look at how long they've been in business, and then go in for, a consult or two. And if people are going to do right by you, they're going to spend the time with you to educate you as to, Botox is great, but it does only last, anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and really 3 to 4 months is kind of average. But the layperson, you would do what's called 50 units under each, arm. And, that can be 100 units, can be quite expensive as far as doing that every 3 months.
Yeah.
If it was every 3 years, that might be different. But You do have to recognize this is not going to stop. This is a problem that if you can start with doing the other alternatives that we suggested prior, which is the oral medications or trying the antiperspirants, I would do that first and then get your consult on your Botox.
Now, how does Botox stop you from sweating? I don't understand.
Okay. So I'm going to be such a nurse and I'm going to call people a patient. So if I say the word patient, just know that that's the person that you're dealing with. So as far as each individual patient, drilling down on the Botox, it is injected into the affected area underneath the arm. Of course, that's a very small, they call it a Botox needle. It's really an insulin needle. It's very small, but again, it is an injection, so there is a little level of pain. We numb the patient prior to ours. Again, just to help with a little bit of the discomfort. And what that does, the Botox actually blocks the nerve that signals the triggering of our sweat glands.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's very, I have to say, it is extremely effective. And it is a safe measure to be able to control that. Um, it is just the cost and the really the dedication and commitment that you're going to do it. Say someone is getting married and it's not a huge problem, but they don't want to sweat around their, on their honeymoon and all
Yeah.
that. You can do it one time and you are going to get the effects. Just recognize that it is going to come back if you don't continue with your treatment.
Yeah. So you could do that on your wedding day so it's no stains on your dress and you're fresh for the honeymoon night. And then once they've married you, they're stuck and you can just sweat like a hot girl. It's too late now. Well,
Miracle.
let me ask you this. So if you put Botox in my armpits, the wrinkles on my forehead aren't going to go away, right?
They haven't figured out how to do that yet, Dina, but I'm going to figure it out. And then you and I are going to live in Costa Rica or somewhere on the beach.
Be billionaires, wouldn't we?
Yes, we
So as someone
would.
that doesn't know, I mean, you've been doing my Botox for years and I kind of get how it works and it's wonderful. I love it, but I do it for vanity reasons, but someone who really wanted to do it for this medical sweating condition could guess that they're probably going to need around, like you said, 100 units. That's 50 per arm. So they could
Correct.
call around and say, what do you charge per unit? Sometimes people have specials to get you as a patient.
They
You wouldn't
do.
want
And
somebody to, go ahead.
no, that's fine. I just want to answer that question immediately because that's a big deal with me.
Okay.
It it depends on who you go to and what their experience level is and their reputation because you don't want someone who is selling you rock bottom Botox prices. Run from that. I'm telling you, be careful, beware. Um, and a lot of places won't give out over the phone how much they charge per unit. I will say across the nation, the average charge of Botox is anywhere from $11 to 20 and plus when you get up probably in LA. I've not checked on them, but
Yeah.
I can imagine they're a little more expensive than East Tennessee.
Right.
So again, yes, cost is a factor because you have to have it in your budget and know what to expect. But those are questions that can be answered, not just by, ringing up somebody's phone and say,
Yeah.
hey, how much do you charge for your Botox?
Yes.
Because just being personal and being just blatantly honest, that offends me because it's not the that's not my goal. My goal is to help the patient, and I'm going to work within their budget as much as I can. Say someone can, only afford 80 units. Maybe it's not going to be as effective as the full recommendation of treatment.
Mhm.
However, if I inject it in the areas where I see the most sweating, that patient is still going to get, some effect and some relief from the sweating on the glands.
Mhm.
So again, just be careful with who you go to, make sure it's reputable. Yes, do ask how much it is, but when you do that, it's a consult. And so someone
Yeah.
is talking directly to you, educating you as to what it is. Again, why we're using it. We want to make sure your practitioner is well aware before they inject it into your armpits. And then you say, oh, I thought we were doing it in my forehead.
My crow's feet are still there. Yeah, I totally get
Right.
what you're saying. That's not something you want to shop around for. I guess what I meant was just to get an idea if something's in your budget, you would know and for it to be effective, you probably need, in other words, you could go to a place and they could say, oh, you just need like 20 units, no big deal, knowing it's not probably going to be effective or, just trying to get you to get that wallet out. I'm sure there's some, you would never do that, but
Correct.
you
That's
need to be
that's
reasonable that it's going to be something that's, a big expense, but it could really improve the quality of your life as opposed to spending it on, I don't know, Starbucks every day or
Well,
new bag, handbag.
or literally new clothes, new shirts because they've been stained. And again, even men who have a job where they still have to wear a suit and a tie, during can you imagine a lawyer walk into court in the middle of August and it's 105
Yeah.
and he has hyperhidrosis? That is something that even men are very effective on men as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. People have tendency not to trust you. They think you're lying or you're doing something sneaky if you're swiping your forehead off and your shirt's soaking wet and you're a liar. Like, what are you nervous about, babe?
Like what? Yes, exactly. What are you nervous about? Now, that personally, I love Botox. I think there's a lot of toxins out there that have been FDA approved, so different places use different products, and that's okay. They are all effective. I use them all, and I would highly suggest that you just do some research, and if it is a problem, recognize it's not going to go away. You are going to have to make changes. And unfortunately, it's kind of like living with diabetes. You have to check your sugar and do your shot. These are things that if you have hyperhidrosis, that will help you have a better quality of life. And that's what we all want.
Exactly. What about palms? Can you put it in the palms or do you know?
Yeah, they do. We don't do that, but yes, I don't know enough to speak intelligently about that. I'll be
Okay.
honest. I've not researched that, Dina,
Okay.
but I do know that that can help. Yes.
Okay.
Um,
And it's
so,
okay to, you're still going to sweat in other places. And, I know sweating is the thing that keeps you cool. So it's not
mhm.
like inhibiting your sweating enough where it would be dangerous for you.
Oh no. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Okay. And then in surgeries, I guess they just like take your sweat glands out or,
Yeah.
wow, I think the Botox sounds better.
Yeah. I don't know about all that surgical stuff underneath my arm.
Ugh. Okay. So is there anything else you would like to add regarding the medical side and the serious side of heat before we get into like fun preventative things, maybe?
Just be all conscientious of our surroundings, and when it's 105, everybody's hot, and it is. I like the word that you used earlier in the beginning. You said oppressive,
Mm.
and that is a big word, but it was so appropriate because I told my husband down in Florida that this heat to me was oppressive. And so just be aware, educate yourself so that you can prevent it in yourself. You recognize the signs that you're getting thirsty, you're overheating, those kind of things. Sit down in a cool place, relax, sip a few, sips of water.
Mhm.
And if you see someone, just be try not to be on your phone and just be in your own little world. Let's pay a little bit more attention to people and recognize people who are in need, that need to be checked on. And then, just like I said, taking care of yourself and everybody else around you. That's all I got to say.
I love it. I love it. Maybe you can save a life like Diana did. That's pretty amazing.
Well, I am a nurse. It's kind of my job.
It's true. Yeah, but you were playing golf. You were off that day, so you should be proud.
A medical person, and everybody, his medical is going to shout and hallelujah because we're on call 24/7.
You really are.
We are, and we take an oath to do no harm, and so the opposite of that means you help, you participate, you show up. If there's a wreck, I stop. You know, it's just the thing to do. Right thing to do.
You're an angel on earth, Diana.
Aw. So are you.
Okay, so these are just some sound kind of crazy, but I'll see if you would do them or have done them or what you think. We'll try to just go through them quickly here. First one is you can actually freeze your pillow. It says scrunch up your pillow, put it in the freezer for 10 minutes. Now, I don't know how big people's freezers are, but mine's full of ice cream. Now, I do have like a, what do you call it? The freezer you put a dead body in. That's the size of freezer.
You do?
Or one could put a dead
Uh,
if one cut it up first.
do you think you could maybe describe that a little different?
One you
I
could like
wouldn't have
store
thought
meat in.
putting a body in it as describing how big it is. How about a whole cow?
A cow, yeah, if you buy like a cow to be butchered.
Okay,
Um,
people, I'm going with the cow. I can't vouch for Dena. As long as you don't have a body in that refrigerator you got.
I never said that. I never. I meant cow body. So if you can't fit your pillow in there, you can actually take the pillowcase off, just kind of fold it up, put it in your freezer like 10 minutes before you're going to go to bed, and you lay on it like you were talking about. That gets your head
Hmm.
cooled,
Sure. Yeah.
which is important. And then you, by the time you go to sleep, you know it's warmed up. So that's kind of crazy. I never thought to do that. I also have heard doing that to your underwear. So I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Now, some people don't have air conditioners, just because of economical reasons. Sometimes there's other parts of the country they don't even have them because it's just not needed that much. And then this year it's so crazy, they do need them. Or maybe you're in a situation where your power's off or something, but they have well, I don't know if I would do this. This is kind of like survival skills kind of thing, but you get just a little foam cooler, like you would take on a camping trip or fishing trip, the little small foam ones, cut a
Hmm.
hole in it and put a little vent in it. I guess this is something you could do on your spare time on a Saturday. But then you put ice in it and put a little portable fan inside and blow through that cooler, and it's actually like a little. Now, I think that would be like a desperate measure when maybe an elderly that couldn't pay the power bill, or
Sure.
they just are in a room where there isn't a window air conditioner unit, or the window air conditioner it's quit, because you hear about elderly being
Yes.
abandoned and it's awful. So that, I don't know if I'd be doing that. Take a bottle of rubbing alcohol and water, mix it in a spray bottle, and spray your sheets. That way you're not, getting mold and moisture into your mattress because the alcohol will help evaporate it. Does that sound crazy?
No, I was about to say amen to that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you just take and spritz it on the sheet before you go to bed, alcohol and water. I don't know if it is, I guess it's half and half alcohol and water.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cool. I wonder if you could actually spray that on yourself, the water and alcohol.
The alcohol would probably really dry out your skin.
Okay. Okay. Let's say you forgot to put that bottle of champagne in the freezer and people are coming over or wine. It says you can run a paper towel under cold water, wrap it around the can or bottle, and place it in the freezer for 15 minutes or less. And that the wet paper towel will cause it to cool faster. That's not like a survival skill. That's just
Well,
if I forgot to
for
put the
some, it might be.
forgot to put the champagne in the fridge. All right. It says run a fan with the AC on. Use a ceiling fan while running the air conditioner will have a double cooling effect. I think that's just common sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Put a,
they have those cooling rags now too that you can buy that you can just put in the freezer, pop it in. We wear them out all the time out on the golf course, and they stay really cool for honestly about the first 12, 13 holes, and then
wow.
it begins. Yeah, so it's pretty effective.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is just put like a bowl. This looks like a metal doggy bowl full of ice in front of a fan. Will kind of creating your own air conditioning. It says scale back on appliance use because if you have that oven on and the dryer on, it's going to add heat
Yes.
throughout your house.
I was cooking last night and I just said, "Why is it so hot in here?" Dan goes, "Well, it is, 100 degrees, and you do have the oven on, baby."
You
I was
really,
like,
I think you shouldn't
"Oh,
cook.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't cook. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Dan. Dana gave me the night off
Well,
because
for
it's too
medical reasons.
hot.
If you don't have air conditioning or you're trying to save, if you're going to put like a box fan that you just buy to set on the floor, portable fan, you can actually wedge it into a window and then put one on the opposite side of just the room that you're going to be sitting in for the majority of the day, and they will cross ventilate. You read the
Yes.
one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep doors closed. Nearly 30% of unwanted heat enters through your house windows. So keep them closed when you're not home. I mean, duh. Put down the shades or blind while you're at work. You might forget to do that. And then that sun's been beating in there all day. And keep the doors closed. Get in the room that you're going to like watch TV in, or if you're sleeping, and close the doors. Now, my dad always said, leave the doors open because it's got to circulate. But this says actually you want to shut the door. That way the vent in the room won't have to cool the rest of the house, which
I
makes
get both sides of that. Yeah.
Yeah. This says run your ceiling fan counterclockwise because, let's see, for optimal cooling during the summer, the air should blow straight down rather than up toward the ceiling. Running your ceiling fan in a counterclockwise direction will do the trick. The airflow produced creates a wind chill effect that makes it feel cooler. I always heard you run it one way in the winter to push the heat down and run it the other way in the summer no, yeah, to push the heat down. The other is to pull the heat up.
And yes, and push the cold air down.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Which yes, I do that all the time.
I think sometimes
Uh-huh.
people forget to switch it, as the seasons change.
Well, you don't forget when it gets really hot. You'll be like,
Get that ladder out and climb up there and flip that little.
get that ladder out for sure.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, there's just a little switch on there. You flip, I think, the other way to change the
Yeah,
opening a door from your
yeah.
basement. You would think, well, no, then the air's going to go down in the basement. But if your basement is cool and in shade, that air will come up from the basement and come up into the house. It just depends on how your house is laid out. All right, Diana, this sounds horrible, but it says make some menthol tea. Have you heard of menthol tea?
No.
I haven't either. This organic compound, menthol, I mean, I've heard of rubbing it on your chest or smoking it in a cigarette, but triggers protein sensory receptors in our mouths that makes us feel cold. So we're trying to concentrate now on getting cool off from the inside out. So
Right.
foods that contain menthol, like mint, okay, that makes sense. Tarragon, basil, oregano, anything that gives you that little cooling sensation on your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Oregano tea might not be particularly palatable, but a chilly glass of mint iced tea. I love mint tea. It's one of my favorites. And then this kind of goes towards like you were talking about the ice packs or the ice scarves or bandanas or whatever. Where you place them is really important. Like you said that you might not think of, but it says to put it on your veins, which I'm sure you would agree with.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they show this on like the crook where your arm, inside your arm where your elbow bends.
Yes.
Ice pack. And you said armpits. To me, that's great because you just put your arms down and you hold them in there.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna circle back and say, I want to know how to make that menthol tea. Do you
What do you,
know how?
what do
What's
you
the
make it out of?
recipe?
You think there are menthol tea bags maybe at health food stores?
I'm sure there are. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I'll do a little research, and if I find a link, I'll put
Okay.
it in there. I just say anything that has that cool, kind of takes your breath away sensation
Yeah.
is going to work
Yeah.
inside your body for a minute or two anyway. So
Great
that's
idea.
oregano, basil, tarragon, mint, and menthol. Any foods that contain menthol.
Yeah.
Okay. I was never a smoker, but I know that their cigarettes kind of have that cool feeling when they have menthol in them, like a
I'm
little,
not a smoker either, so I can't comment on that.
you know. All right, here's some foods to keep in your fridge. And I was looking at the list, and it kind of struck me that it's foods that are in season and then they're cooling. And it's kind of like God knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does. He provides for us.
Yes.
He
So,
knows.
so grapes, and I love to freeze grapes and then just pop a few in my mouth, you know, throughout the day.
Oh, I
Fix
never
it.
froze a grape. I'm gonna do that today.
Do you like green grapes or purple grapes better?
I like all grapes.
Do you?
Yep.
I like the green ones. And it's almost like candy when you eat it. Watermelon. That's got a lot
Mm,
of,
a lot of water.
mm,
Yes.
that's a good electrolyte, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay. Cucumber.
Yep. I was going to say, I bet that's on the list.
Yeah, for sure. Cucumber water is wonderful. Yogurt.
Hmm.
Says the creamy texture will cool the throat, and it takes a little while for it to cool down in your body, turn to, for your body to digest it to make it warm. So it's there for a while. And it has the probiotics, which is,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, make a smoothie. Coconut water.
With those frozen grapes.
Exactly. Grapes, cucumber. That sounds good. Coconut water. I'm not a fan of coconut water.
Me either. I really want to like it, but I just don't.
It tastes like swallowing a glass of saliva to me. Somebody
Oh,
else's saliva.
that's a description. How about the sales? I'm coconut water.
Oh, it does taste like bodily fluid to me. Aloe vera. Now, how do you eat aloe vera? I think they make a gel. I see.
Yeah, they actually make a drink. Yeah, that has that in it. And then they have different flavors of it. It's very good. It's one of those things you either like it or you don't. I love them. My husband is like, "Ooh, that's slimy in my mouth, and I'm not going to drink that." But they are very healthy, and I like them.
Okay, cool. Pineapple.
Yep,
You can extol the positives of pineapple because you suggest that I eat pineapple days before a injection because
I
of
do. It's
anti-inflammatory.
yeah.
I
You
like
so smart, Dina.
I try to be. You teach me. Now, pineapple's kind of a pain in the butt. I have never bought a pineapple. I get frozen pineapple chunks. I've never wrangled a pineapple.
I'm going to get you a fresh pineapple, and I'm going to cut it for you, and you're never going to buy that stuff again.
Really?
It makes all the difference in the world. Oh my gosh, it melts in your mouth.
Yum. I'll
No,
take you on that.
it's yummy. It's a party in your mouth.
I love a party in my mouth. Berries. Now, I prefer frozen berries to fresh berries just because they flash freeze them right when they pick them. So they're actually fresher probably than if you go to the market and buy, quote, fresh berries. And I like to get the mixed bag, with all the different kinds.
Yeah.
I enjoy those. That's just my
And
personal.
that's actually a very good point that you make. If they do it immediately, and then you got to think about carting them to the warehouse and packaging them, and then carting them to the Kroger or Publix or
Yeah.
wherever. Yeah.
You
Okay.
really have to wash them, and that kind of makes them mushy. Like
Mm.
blueberries, by the time they get through all that, they're those little squished things. That's just my personal preference. Any citrus fruit, it's great. And I love squeezing a lemon, lime, and grapefruit in the morning in my water. I have this little squeezer I love and just so
Well,
refreshing.
I ain't going for the squeezer because I'd like to see that if you can
Well,
find it.
it's actually manual. It's not even, it's like the old fashioned, where you
Oh,
cut it and have to
yes.
grind it, but it's just very
Yes.
little effort. It's not the glass one, it's like a plastic one that just, I mean, it
Okay.
guts it. It guts the pulp. And I like pulp myself, but you could filter it out. Celery.
Yes. Great
Refresh.
one.
Yeah, crisp. It's a good holder for peanut butter.
Oh, it is. Have you ever tried that honey peanut butter on there?
No,
Oh, girl, I'm telling you, that's some eating.
honey peanut butter.
Honey peanut butter on celery all
Delicious.
day long.
Sounds amazing. Green tea, which I'm a fan of green tea.
I
Papaya.
have to sweeten mine a lot.
Oh, really? The green tea taste?
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but it is so good for you.
Right. I don't know if I've ever had a papaya. I probably had a papaya in like a big fruit bowl that I wasn't aware it was a papaya.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Yeah, they are enzyme rich, which helps with digestion. And your body heats up when it's digesting, so that helps to ease that digestion. Peaches. I mean, the peach stands are on the side of the road everywhere right now.
Yeah, and they're good too.
Mm. Yeah, I want to make peach ice cream out of them.
You are so funny. You are caught up on this ice cream deal.
I know, I haven't had it in a while. So, peach ice cream, fresh peach ice cream is just It's kind of a childhood memory. That's what we always made with our ice cream.
Yeah. In our ice cream maker. Oh my
Mm.
goodness. Oh, those were the days, girl.
Kind of grainy. It's like a little sugary. It doesn't really
Yes. It
love it.
took hours for it to churn and do, and I'd watch it as a kid, and oh my goodness, that's some yummy eating. Mm.
Yeah, you know that was a pain in the butt. My dad would have to get the salt and keep putting it on there, and we'd be saying, "Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet?" Bless his heart. Then he'd let us eat it all because those things weren't very big. They didn't make a lot of ice cream. So
They did. You're right. And by the time you got that big, huge spatula out of there,
my dad's like, "Oh, I'll just scrape the bottom of the ant bucket." Our parents, what they do for us. Tomatoes. Are you a
oh
tomato fan?
yes, yes, rich in antioxidants as well.
Yeah, and you can make sauce. If you're not a fan of the texture of tomatoes, which I have a lot of people in my life that are that way, make a sauce, make a fresh sauce out of them. So good. Makes salsa out of them.
Mm. Oh yeah, why don't you make me some?
I should. There's so many varieties right now that are out because they're in season now. I didn't plant any. This is the first year I haven't planted tomatoes, and I think I would have struggled with this heat. I don't know if I would have had
Yeah,
radishes.
yeah, I don't do radishes unless they're cut up in salad and
Yeah,
they're
they're
little.
already in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
they are interesting.
yeah, you either like them or you don't.
Yeah, but they are very cool, and they kind of have that menthol taste to me, that feeling in your mouth. I think they don't want to be eaten, so they like fight back. That's the way I feel when I'm eating one. It's like, I'm going to make you pay for eating me. They do have a zing, which is true. Any kind of leafy lettuce is great and cooling for your insides.
That's
Kiwi,
why salads. I don't mean to talk over you, but I have to say salads, 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 and you can add chicken, you can add salmon, or shrimp on top of it to get your protein,
oh
and then
yeah.
also your cooling on your salad. So you're
Yeah.
kind of doing both.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about beans, but you can do like a cold bean, like three different kinds of beans, black bean,
Mm,
garbanzo, and toss them in a salad cold, and that's delish. Okay.
yes,
Fennel, not a fan of
you're
fennel.
making me hungry.
I'm almost finished. Zucchini, which I wouldn't
I
have
don't
thought.
know that I've ever tried it.
Fennel.
Yeah, I've never tried that.
It
What
tastes
is
like
that? I don't
licorice. Do
know.
you like licorice?
Oh no, that's probably why I've never had it.
It looks like a garlic bulb, like a big garlic bulb with the stalk sticking off of it, but it's very cooling. But it does
Okay.
taste like licorice. Cantaloupe, amazing. Love cantaloupe.
Hmm.
In other words, I think the lesson here is you do not cook, you do not use your dryer, therefore you cannot wash clothes or run the dishwasher. So just chill and eat some watermelon.
Or some peach ice cream.
Peach ice cream. Okay. And of course, turmeric. I just want to add this one and I'm done. Because that surprised to me, turmeric sounds like it would be heating, like stimulating, because I drink that in my water in the mornings too.
Yeah.
It actually has a cooling effect because anything that stimulates your blood circulation will help to
Mhm.
cool you down.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Right. Well, there's really nothing we can do about the heat except be smart, learn to live with it. Um, and we hope we've helped you a little bit. Diana, would you like to close the show like you normally do?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Well, I just want to encourage you to take care of yourself, take care of others, be aware out there, pre-hydrate. Be careful when you're drinking alcohol, especially out in the heat for an extended period of time. Try to limit yourself, like Dena said, one beer to maybe one bottle of water to at least balance that out so you don't get all of a sudden they're calling 911 for you. So take care, everybody. We will see you next time. We sure appreciate you listening, and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.